I was 11, 3 days before my birthday, August 22nd. It was me, my mom, my dad, and my sister Vanessa. We were all sitting down watching one of our favorite shows called Modern Family. My other sister Valinda was working at her job, Wells Fargo. My sister Vanessa was 17 at the time, and Valinda was 26. "I'm gonna go get some food from the grocery store near downtown," my mom said. My dad responded saying, "Well, let's all go. Might as well, there's nothing much to do here anyways." We all got in the gray Suburban that our neighbor was letting us borrow since we were taking care of his dogs. "Let's hope you don't crash this thing," my dad said. We took the freeway there. I asked my mom, "So what are we getting at the store?" My mom answered, "Turns out this is one of the only stores that sells these delicious Mexican breads that I used to love eating as a kid." Then my sister got all excited about it. When we were inside the store, my mom showed Vanessa and I the way to the breads. When we got there, we both started stacking up on those amazing looking breads. My mom and dad started stacking up also. After that, we went around the grocery store looking for dinner for that night. My dad grabbed a 6-pack beer for when we get home. After we were done shopping, we went to the cashier and checked out all of our stuff and started walking back to the car. When we arrived at the car, my sister yelled "shotgun." My mom was okay with it and sat in the back with me when my dad was the one driving now. When we were all in the car, my sister didn't have her seatbelt on. My dad told my sister, "Put your seatbelt on, Vanessa." Then Vanessa put it on in a mopey-looking way. We were driving for at least 4 minutes, and I was close to falling asleep. Then my dad reached an intersection that led off to the freeway, and all I can dwell upon is having my eyes closed, hearing the sound of tires screeching, then looking up and seeing my dad swerve the steering wheel to the left, and just feeling the force of my head banging against the window when we got T-boned from the right side of us. All I can bear in mind on the point of impact is just seeing glass go everywhere, feeling a change in gravity as if it was a roller coaster, and banging my head against the roof of the car, and eventually hanging upside down and seeing the world in an upside down way. The second the car came to a halt, my dad was screaming, "Is everyone okay? Are any of you guys hurt?" I tried to hear him over the stinging sound of the ringing of metal to metal colliding at high velocity that was in my head. Every one of us said we were okay. After that, I unbuckled my seatbelt and dropped onto the roof of the car and started to see the world right side up again. I crawled as fast as I could out the back window that had jagged and sharp glass all over it, and I remember about a 20-year-old male that helped me out the back window by kicking out all the sharp glass where I needed to put my hands to get out. And I didn't even bother to say something like, "Thanks for helping me out of my near-death experience," because there was just too much going on in my head. And I still couldn't hear very well because of the ringing in my ears. I wish I could go back and say thank you to that man. I kept on saying in my head, "How did I just survive that? And how did I not get out with any injuries, not even a scratch? Everyone else better be okay." With the whole world spinning, I got up from crawling out of the back window and started walking for about 2 seconds, then stumbled and fell on my knees. I looked at the asphalt of the street for a while with shatters of glass everywhere, then looked back at the flipped over demolished car with my whole family still stuck inside, and I just looked in shock with no facial expression. I started to walk around the car in a stun and started to wait to see if I can be of any help. Then about less than a minute after the crash happened, police, ambulances, and even fire trucks came by. I was so surprised that they came so quick. Either they came super quick, or time was going by like the speed of light because I had an aggregation of adrenaline. I went to my dad's side of the car, and the roof of the car on his side was being crushed onto him, but he was fine. What he had to do to get out, since his door was completely crushed, he had to climb through the front window of the car. It took about 5 to 10 minutes for the firemen and policemen to help my mom and Vanessa get out of the car. They were both fine also. After that, the paramedics had us sit down on a curb to ask us questions about how we were feeling when it comes to pain. We all said that we were fine. Then the paramedics said, "Alright, let's get you on the ambulance and to the nearest hospital so that you guys can get checked just in case." When we were all inside of the cramped ambulance, we were completely silent, but our faces said enough. I started to think in my head, out of all the ambulance that I hear in the distance and see rushing through cars and running red lights, we're finally it. So coming from the present as a 14-year-old, from that day forward, I've learned to appreciate life, and whenever life's not going my way, I just remember I survived that crash for a reason.